Sorry, feet flat on the floor if you are sitting at your desk, about a hip's width apart. And if you're sitting in the regular cross-legged position, meditation posture, have your sits bones raised, because this helps you to prevent you from leaning in on your sacrum, leaning back on your sacrum. So shoulders are aligned with the hips, and as best you can, your ears are in line with your shoulders. And just imagine your spine as a string of pearls of light. So stretching, lengthening. This is really the best position for meditating. Everything's aligned. Even at a physical level, the blood is flowing better. Generally, you're more comfortable. And so if you do have any problems, you're not well, or you have pain, you're very welcome to lean into whatever surface is behind you. But if you are quite healthy and feeling okay, best to try and use your own body strength to hold you up. So just imagine you're drawing an arc on the ceiling with a crayon that's stuck to the top of your head. So you really are reaching up and over. And just allow your head to very, very slightly tip forward, putting a little bit of traction in the back of the neck. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And relax the jaw. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and the forehead and the eyes, and the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the head at the occipital bone. Relax the ears, the inner ear. Relax the jaw, back of the tongue. And just notice when you relax the back of the tongue, that does help to release the jaw a little bit. And go to the neck. Any tension in your neck, as much as you can, try and release that. Allow the shoulders and the shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And bring the mind to the breath and just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Those very subtle sensations. And then just become aware if there are sounds in your environment, and just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with the mind. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what's arising in the mind this evening. And just know that however it is you're turning up this evening, it's perfectly fine. It's just where you're at tonight. So notice what's arising in the mind and try and give yourself some space. Give those thoughts some space. And what we've been doing lately is imagining just putting our thoughts on a little white fluffy cloud or a lotus, just letting it float off. So trying not to engage with the thoughts or having opinions or judgment, criticism. Just allow them to arise and observe them with some level of curiosity and interest and objectivity. And now imagine you're sitting on the bank of a river. This is Mingyur Rinpoche's analogy for our mind. And you're sitting on the bank and you're just watching that river flow on by. And while you're sitting on the bank, you're free from the river. So we'll bring to mind all the people of our life. So our loved ones, These are people we have kind of really mostly extraordinary relationships with. Sometimes they're long-term best friends, spouses and children, work colleagues, people we support and who support us. And then there's those people in your life you have a bit of difficulty with. Maybe they harmed you. And then there's our strangers. And just remember, they can all change place at any time. Maybe they have in your life, maybe they have this year. And they're all equal. They're the same as us in their wish to be happy. And everybody wants to be free from suffering. And everyone has this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. Even those people who you don't think that are worthy of that kind of thing. Believe it or not, they do have that same capacity. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, by extension, all sentient beings, and just keeping in mind Israel, who passed away a few days ago. This was his main practice. So you can imagine he's here with us. So we're doing it on his behalf. And then our precious Hin, who's not feeling super well. So for her not to turn up, she must be feeling pretty sick because she's fairly dedicated. But then we'll do this practice for all these folks and for ourselves as we're moving along our spiritual path. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind all the time. So we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So we're doing this practice of Vajrasattva in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And the first of these is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. So we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from the present suffering that we don't want it. So logically, we want to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And so also regret our delusions, anger, attachment, grasping, neediness. And this is the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, not as a kind of picture or a tanka or a, you know what I mean? So he is not somebody who is like this kind of higher power that we're thinking is going to come and rescue us or forgive us or something like that. It's not the way. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So we see him as a doctor. His methods are like his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine, if you have a teacher, or a trusted mentor, this is that person benefiting in this particular form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long, they're shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this little section here on compassion. And so in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by just developing a wish for them to be free from suffering. You can also think about, so bring someone to mind that you may have harmed, and then also bring to mind someone who's harmed you. And particularly for these people, just develop a wish for them to be free from suffering, because the harm they've caused you is going to ripen as suffering for them sometime down the track. So I think I must purify for the sake of all these sentient beings. And then we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we use visualization and mantra. So we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So they see you walk past, they feel you walk past, they can smell you walk past. It benefits their mind. They sense your presence. It benefits their mind. So next is the purification of speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends, again, powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And again, it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the inappropriate speech and the not being able to express yourself the way you want to or need to, and lying and talking badly about other people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So now feel delighted your speech is purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So imagine you have this friend who's having a hard time. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they have a really serious problem arising. And imagine that every single syllable that comes out of your mouth is beneficial to their mind and is helpful. Often we try to help, but we don't have the wisdom. Or we try to make someone feel better because we can't deal with their discomfort. So imagine you have the wisdom to know what's the best thing to say. And maybe the best thing to say is nothing. Maybe silence is the best thing to say. So next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. It's the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, that the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so your attachment and grasping and neediness and depression, anxiety and anger, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, disappointment, all of this instantly dispelled. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anarakta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe. So again, we're delighted that all of your delusions, which are the source of all of our suffering, all of us, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. So imagine they're totally gone, they're finished, and there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness, forgiveness, wisdom, and bliss and compassion. So the purification now of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagavan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe, Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sutokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. Now we come to the fourth step in the purification process, and that's the power of resolve. And here it's a really crucial step, is this decision that we make to try and refrain from harming. So maybe there's a habit that you have that you want to get on top of that's harmful to yourself and others. And give yourself a timeline. Maybe it's something to do with speech. So maybe you can refrain from it for 5 seconds or for an hour or overnight while you're sleeping. Just think of something you'd like to work on, to get on top of. And this determination to not do again is what gives us strength to change our habits. So imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So you just kind of merge together. And next, a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. And we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They're just dependent arisings, do not exist from their own side. And maybe the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this purification practice to all living beings, and particularly Hin and Israel. And may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So we're right on the hour, Michael. I think we'll just do these 2 prayers, this one for His Holiness and the other one for Lelong Rinpoche. So the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And just for some context, Patrick, Lama Zopa Rinpoche passed away about 2.5 weeks ago. And so this is a prayer requesting his swift return, for the reincarnation to return. And it's by a Lama called Lelong Rinpoche. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of the victorious Jamyang Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma, holding the 3 vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, and able to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one through listening, reflection, and meditation. Guide all of transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. Oh, that wasn't Lelong Rinpoche. Was that Jada Rinpoche's one? I think that was Jada Rinpoche's one.
I'll have to go back and see if Shayla mixed up the titles with the
Yeah, that wasn't Lelong's.
because I think the long one we did, I think the titles were switched around from yesterday and today.
Oh, okay. Yesterday's was Kadrala's.
Oh no, sorry, I'm sorry, from Tuesday and today.
Oh, Tuesday, never mind. Never mind. Thank you very much, everybody. Lots of love. So tomorrow morning we're doing the Tara practice. And also in the evening, there is a introduction to mindfulness. It's an hour and a half. I don't know what we're going to do for an hour and a half anyway. If you come, very welcome. It's just meditation, I think, and discussion and something like that. I'll see what we need to do.
And isn't there a medicine Buddha practice tomorrow as well?
There might be. I think tomorrow's quite busy. So you guys just take my word for you. Yeah. Just
I'll
decide
double
what.
check.
Yes. Good night, Chamomile. And Patrick, I hope you enjoyed, and please come back. I hope you will join us again. And if you just have a look around on this website, there's lots of things that you can do that might be interesting for you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Lots of love and all the best with your job, Lorraine. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.